This is Electric Universe Eyes, and today I got a special package in the mail. From Stickman on Stone. That's right. Oh boy. The Interconnected Cosmos by Donald E. Scott. I'm really excited to get this book, and let's take a look. Stickman on Stone Publishing. Very cool. No, you're doing that now. For Annis, my love, my rock, my compass, my lifelong other half, my true raison d'etre. For you, a cosmos of gratitude and love. No part of this publication may be reproduced or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic or mechanical, including photocopy, recording, or any other information storage and retrieval system, without prior permission in writing from the publisher? Oh man. Please visit my websites at www.electriccosmos.org and www.astrotes.info, printed in the United States of America. Oh man, well, shoot. I'm gonna read the back, and then maybe one day Mr. Scott will let me narrate his book. Because I would do it, Donald. I would do it. Many of the stars and galaxies in our universe are interconnected by incredibly long filaments of plasma, ionized gas. Instead of the old-fashioned view that galaxies are isolated island universes with only empty space between them, and so are the stars, it is now becoming apparent that all the major entities in the cosmos form on these plasma filaments. This means that space is densely occupied by what is becoming known as the cosmic web. The extreme length of many of the filaments challenges the Big Bang theory of accepted astronomy. This book presents an understandable explanation and description of what is being discovered. Dr. Jeremy Dunning Davies, a highly respected mathematician and astrophysicist, recently wrote in response to an article about these twisting filaments that so puzzle astronomers. Quote, these are better known as Birkeland currents, and their existence and properties have been investigated deeply by, for example, Anthony Peratt, who was Alfvén's student, and as far as theoretical studies are concerned, by Don Scott, retired professor of electrical engineering, University of Massachusetts, end quote. He goes on to say that my work, quote, does account for those apparently puzzling stellar velocity profiles and indicates that we have much to learn, end quote. But will they learn? Most of what they need to know is right in these pages. Well, I want to share them with you guys, but Mr. Don Scott, I'll respect not narrating your book until you tell me I can. Woohoo! Okay, so Don, don't be mad at me because I read this Welcome to the Interconnected Cosmos, and I have to provide this for anybody that's watching this. This will probably convince you that you should buy this book, right? Okay, so don't sue me. I don't know, you wouldn't get anything anyway. I'm going to read this, and you're just going to deal with it. All right, All right, here we go. It has been 15 years since my book, The Electric Sky, was first published, so it seemed to many of my readers and colleagues, and to me as well, that it is time to take a look at what I said back there in 2006, and to update any statements and descriptions I offered then in light of any new information that has come along. What follows is the result of my efforts to do just that. There have been many scientific press releases made in those years, some accurate and valuable, and some others much less so. New observations and results have largely supported the claims and concepts of the electric universe view of how the cosmos is organized and powered. The most significant groundbreaking news is the growing recognition that everything in the cosmos, our solar system, and all the other stars and galaxies is connected. The age-old notion that has been universally accepted for all of scientific history, that the cosmos is mostly empty space that isolates widely separated tiny components, those stars and galaxies, is being replaced by the view that those components are all interconnected in a network made up of plasma strings. Essentially, everything I presented in that original version is still valid and germane to what is going on in astrophysics today. So I thought I could just add additional chapters covering any important new developments that have ensued since that time. But there were two unavoidable consequences of any such attempt. No one will want to buy a second edition of a book, the first 3/4 of which is just a repetition of the first edition that many people have already purchased and read, including me. Secondly, the extended length and additional astrophotos I wanted to include would raise the cost of production beyond many readers' ability or desire to pay. That also is a smart point. But if I just amputated the first several chapters of The Electric Sky and only talked about new developments, a majority of potential readers would lack the basic ideas and concepts on which the new material is based. So smart. What you hold in your hands is my attempt to present not only the recent important developments in astronomy and astrophysics, but also to include just enough basic information to allow interested, inquisitive readers to comprehend their meaning and their importance. This is a standalone book. You do not have to have read The Electric Sky in order to understand what is in the following pages. Those of you who have read my earlier work will recognize some of the introductory material. I hope you will think of it as a helpful, brief review of the basic concepts. Some of you may have been introduced to these ideas from watching the available YouTube and Space News Internet videos that cover those topics. For those who want it, the original first book, The Electric Sky, is still available from stickmanonstone.com. As I was scanning through the first several chapters in that original work, a few passages just about jumped out of the pages at me because they are so valid and necessary, still today exactly as they were back when I first conveyed them. Regarding mathematical models, John von Neumann cautioned against rushing to overly mathematical descriptions of things. Quote, "There's no sense in being precise when you don't even know what you're talking about," end quote. The essential goal in science is, can we find a reasonably simple model such that every time new data arrives, the model is comfortable with it without having to vary the coefficients, modify the structure of our equations, or invent hypothetical entities to accommodate it? That robust kind of model constitutes a legitimate basis for a hypothesis. But even then, we must remind ourselves that mathematical models are not reality. An equation is only a model of some real-world process. The variables in the equations are our best approximations of reality, not reality itself. Getting ideas like these across to the reader was one of the major thrusts of The Electric Sky. They are as crucially important today as they ever have been. The most important thing that these 15 years have brought to us is the realization that plasma filaments flow not only from the sun to Earth, Birkeland currents, but to many of the planets. They flow between stars and they flow between galaxies. In fact, stars and galaxies form along these filaments. This explains why galaxies behave the way they do, and why we do not need to hunt for missing matter. We see now that plasma filaments connect almost everything in the cosmos. We do indeed live in an interconnected cosmos. I'm going to cover what the table of contents are, and then I'm going to stop. You'll have to buy the book if you want to read the rest, which I'm going to read it, so there you go. I don't know if you're interested. Are you? You should be. Table of contents. The interconnected cosmos. Welcome to the interconnected cosmos. I just read that. Introduction. The electric sun, updated 2021. The sun's electrical atmosphere. Origins and properties of the solar winds. Open magnetic fields and other fictions. The solar system. Stars, electric cosmology. Stragglers, bursters, and pulsars. Galaxies. Birkeland currents revisited and analyzed. Extending the Bessel function FAC model. Birkeland currents and weather. And lowering the drawbridge. Appendix A, solar electron flux. Cool. All right, guys. That is all I've got for you. Goodbye.